Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to my channel. Today I have some meals for you. This is just a couple of the meals that I've made throughout the week to use up ingredients that I have or just to try something new. On my channel I do a lot of pantry cooking, home style type meals. I do some canning, learning to do some homesteading, and I do a lot of food bank hauls and what you can make with the food you get from the food bank. If this is the kind of content you like, I really hope you consider subscribing and join my family. We have a lot of fun around here and I'd love for you to be a part of that. Alright, so let's get into the kitchen and I'll show you what I made. Good morning everyone. Today I'm going to be making some breakfast and I have a couple of different ingredients I'm going to be using up. The main ingredient I'm going to be focusing on this morning is beef chorizo. I get a lot of people who don't know what to do with chorizo, and this is something that I get from the food bank frequently. So I'm going to be cooking this up for breakfast and teaching you how. I am wearing a glove today because I had cut my thumb earlier and it's got stitches and a band-aid on it. If you ever get hurt in the kitchen and you get nipped or something in the fingers, it's always good to protect the food from the cut and the cut from the food. So always have an extra pair of gloves. These are restaurant style gloves that we have a chef store that I got these. They are a little bit more expensive, but I love them. They just go on a lot easier, they hold up a lot better, and it's always good to have an extra pair of gloves. So I'm sporting a glove today for my cut till I get that healed up a little bit. And then another part of my breakfast, we had a little muncher in our garden. So this zucchini I was letting to get a little bigger, and I noticed this morning that someone decided last night was its prime time. So I'm going to try and save this and see if we can't chop this up and have it in our breakfast as well. So let me get you in a little closer and I'll show you everything that I got going on. Alright, I'm going to get my fire going. And while that pan's heating up, I'm going to cut up this zucchini. I already rinsed and washed it. So to remove the bite marks, I'm just going to cut this in half and then just feed this half to my goats or chickens. Whoever get to it first. Look at that. It's a beautiful zucchini though. Homegrown zucchini. Alright, so I got that cut, and then I have some onions. This is probably all I'm going to add, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this up, and I'll have it in my fridge, so if I need to do another meal, this is already cut up, ready to go. You can also leave them round and pan fry them that way, they're really good. Alright, so let's get these extra pieces in a container, save for later. And then I'm just going to use half of this. Have you guys used chorizo before? What's your favorite way to use it? You just squeeze it right out. Then you just kind of mash it up. We're going to let that cook. And then for this other half, I'm just going to stick it in a Ziploc bag, a snack size. I'm just going to kind of let this sizzle for a little bit, and then I'm going to add my veggies and let them cook in it. Another thing I have are some home canned potatoes. I'm going to drain that liquid off. And then I'm going to, I keep mine kind of big when I can them so they don't get too overcooked. I do not have a video on canning potatoes because this is one of the very first things I learned how to do when I started to teach myself how to can was potatoes. So this was when I was first learning. So I'm just going to cut these up just a little smaller. my camera cut out of me for the last part, and I didn't realize it as I'm editing, so I'm just going to tell you what I did. After I'm finished cutting up all these potatoes, I'm going to add in those red onions and the zucchini, and I'm going to let that cook for probably 2 to 3 minutes until I add the potatoes. So that's where we're at this point. Alright, my potatoes are done. That's probably good enough for now, and then I still have half of a jar left I can add to something else. And then I'm just going to be scrambling up some eggs. Oh, actually, I forgot. I do have some of our tomatoes from our garden that my daughter hasn't got to. My daughter loves tomatoes, and like the mom in me is like, yes, she's eating all the tomatoes right off the vine. I'm so happy. She's gonna get so big. That's so healthy. And then the cook in me is like, dang it, she's eating all the tomatoes right off the vine. But we got a couple in here, so I'm gonna throw these in here too, because there's nothing quite like a fresh homegrown tomato. Most of our tomatoes are still green. We're still waiting on them to ripen up. But as you can see, we still have a few. So I'm just going to dice this up. We'll kind of add this in at the end. Very juicy. I think that's good. Well, we'll do one more. Zucchini might be cut a little big. I probably could have cut it a little smaller, but that's okay. So yeah, that's what it is. You just, cooking's all about figuring out what you like, how you like to do it, what your family likes, you know, and adapting it. If you do something different one time and they don't like it, well, you tried it. Or they might be, oh, this is the best ever. You know? Try new stuff. Alright, so I have a bunch of eggs here, farm fresh eggs. I'm going to put in here. Right, so I'm going to do a dozen eggs, just because it's nice to have some extra, especially if like husband's running late to work. I can slap it in a tortilla, or just microwave it real quick and it's already heated up, ready to go. So a dozen, and then I'm going to add a shot of milk, just to help get that a little creamier. This is looking great. So at this point, I'm going to add the potatoes. Let them get some color and some flavor to them. Oh yeah. Canned potatoes are a nice convenience. Like, in my opinion, I haven't been able to get them to fry up like a fresh potato could in grease. Like, they just kind of get mushy and stuff. That's probably me doing it wrong though. Okay, so this has been just cooking for a couple more minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and add the eggs. Now you could have just pulled all that off and cooked the eggs separate if that's what you like to do. It's easier for me just to combine everything into one giant scramble. Now you can see here, this is just the grease from the chorizo, and that's what's going to help the eggs not stick. That's what's going to add a lot of flavor to them. So when making scrambled eggs, I like to start on the outside and just kind of push in. Believe it or not, but I learned this technique when I worked at McDonald's, like for their scrambled eggs. They're like, don't just scramble them, you got to pull them, and it makes like the big fluffy eggs that you would see on their breakfast platters. Alright, so I'm just going to keep pulling this in. I might let it sit for a little bit and cook. Those were all room temperature eggs, farm fresh eggs you can keep out on the counter. So they weren't cold. It's good on any proteins, so like eggs, steaks, hamburger, pork loins, chicken, like to all kind of come to room temperature before you cook it. At least not have it be right out of the fridge, because then it would be super cold, and proteins, they scrunch up whenever you change the temperature on them super fast. And that's what makes them tough, is because they're like, ah, because of that temperature shock. And that makes them tough. It makes them, you know, tense up. So if you have it at just a room temperature and then you add heat to it, it's not such a shock, and it makes for juicy meat. Or eggs, you know, protein, same thing. Alright, it's starting to firm up now. You can see if you push away, there's no more liquid to fill that hole immediately. So they're cooking. I do have some stickage to the bottom of my pan, which honestly happens like half the time I make eggs, half the time it doesn't. So I don't really know what causes it. This is the point I'm going to add some seasoning once those eggs have some texture. And just a little bit of salt. That chorizo has a lot of flavor in it. And then just a little bit of pepper. I do not like overcooked eggs, so this is really the point where I start watching it. So you look for like the egg yolk or the egg whites to be cooked. So at this point I'm going to turn off my heat. I'm going to make sure it's spread out. I'm going to add my cheese. This is Gouda and Swiss. This is just what I have left over. Okay, so I got that in there. And then I'm going to put a lid on her, take it off the heat, and let it finish cooking that way. Alright, let's see. Oh yeah, look at that. That looks great. And that's what's for breakfast. It is the next day. Here's our leftover scramble from before. What I'm going to do to serve this is I have a couple leftover hot dog buns. So I'm just going to get these toasted a little bit and then make like a burrito kind of sandwich. And for the actual egg mixture, I'm just going to heat this up in the microwave. Alright, our eggs. Our bread is out of the toaster. We got our eggs heated up. I have this mayonnaise that I'm using at the moment. So we're going to put some mayonnaise on there. I like mayonnaise on my breakfast sandwiches and stuff. And then I'm going to put this on here. Make it kind of like a little hot dog breakfast sandwich. Just because it's a hot dog bun doesn't mean you have to use it for a hot dog. You know, be creative with them. It's just a piece of bread. If I had more cheese, I might put more cheese on there, but I don't. So this is what they get. And then I got a couple of oranges here I'm going to peel, and that's going to be their breakfast. Easy peasy. Hey everybody. For tonight's dinner, I'm going to be utilizing a few extra ingredients that I have in my fridge just to kind of use them up. The main star is a pre-made frozen pizza dough that has been proofing in this bag in my fridge for a couple of days, so it's ready to get used. So I'm going to be making some pizza. So we got that. I don't have any cheese besides Gouda and Swiss, and I was like, you know what? We'll try it on a pizza. We got leftover shredded chicken. We got some diced red onions. I have some home canned pickled jalapenos. And my homemade rhubarb BBQ sauce. If you have not seen this video on how I made this, I can link that below. So let me bring you in close and I'll show you what we're doing. First thing I'm gonna do is just drizzle some olive oil into my pan. My spreader here. Make sure to get up on the edges. So I'm just going to be making a square pizza. I actually used to sell Pampered Chef back in the day before I knew of the dangers of MLMs. And this is both a Pampered Chef pan and spatula, which is funny. I mean, not bad products, just way overpriced and a scam. And So we're gonna, whoa, well, not that way. Flop our pizza dough on there. I've been trying to let this sit out for like the past 30 minutes to kind of come to room temperature. Let's see. See, my hands are clean. I'm just gonna try and see if I can shape it. It might need to warm up a bit more. Let's see, I'm just kind of pulling on it, letting gravity do the work for me of stretching it, pulling it down. I'm probably just gonna have to let this warm up a little more. So we'll take a break. You see how it just keeps shrinking back no matter how much you stretch, it shrinks back. That means it's too cold. It needs to sit for a minute. So while that is warming up, let's get to shredding this cheese. So you guys know how Swiss cheese has holes in it, right? One time when I was training a new guy at Applebee's, he grabbed a piece of Swiss cheese and was like, "Hey, do you think the mice had gotten to this? There's a bunch of holes in it." And I was like looking at his face, you know, the kind where you're looking at somebody to see if they're serious or not. And this kid was dead serious. Like, he's 18, this is his first job. Like, you don't even know what Swiss cheese is? Like, I guess I shouldn't make fun of people for not knowing, but I'm just like, he sincerely thought a mouse broke into the drawer and that's the only thing the mouse ate was just a little nibble of cheese to get a hole in it. I was like, oh, you're so cute. Very careful when you're grating block cheese, guys. Like, go slow. Make sure you don't get a knuckle. That'll hurt. This one's got a bit of a rind, so, and I'm just gonna throw this cheese in my stock bag. The rind will add a nice flavor to my stocks when I make homemade stock. All right, so this should be a nice combo. You know, if you never tried it before, give it a try. You never know what you might like if you have access to get to it. All right, let's see if that couple minutes while we grated that cheese helped. Oh, it looks like it did. Here's my homemade rhubarb BBQ sauce. We're gonna do that. And then for this side, I'm gonna use the handy dandy Sweet Baby Ray's for the kiddos because the other barbecue sauce is just a smidgen too spicy for them. That was my bad. Always make it for me instead of make it for the children. So we'll do a little corner for them. If they want more, they'll have to have the spicy. Okay, and then I'm gonna put down the shredded chicken. Kind of space it out. Okay, so we got that, and then I'm gonna put some red onion on there. And then also on the adult side, I'm putting some of this pickled jalapenos. Oh, there's a garlic clove. I'm gonna leave that on there. Pickled garlic's super good for you, and it kind of takes away some of the heat and the what's it called, the like the sharpness of the garlic. Some of that will go away with pickling it. And then our Gouda Swiss cheese mixture. Now in the oven. I have my oven set at 425. We're gonna put this in for 20 minutes and see how it looks. All right, the pizza came out. I'm actually not quite sure how long I put it in there because I forgot the timer. I was just like, man, that should be out by now. It looks, But I have a rule where if you can start smelling it, then that usually means it's done. So let's look at that crust. Oh yeah, that looks beautiful. So there's our barbecue chicken pizza. All right guys, I'm gonna get to slicing. On to the next dinner. Hey everybody. So for tonight's dinner, I'm going to be utilizing some spaghetti and just gonna make some pesto pasta. I got a bag here of broccoli cauliflower that I need to use up, so I'm going to microwave this and steam it that way and just add it to my pasta. I have some pesto sauce here. I actually got this from a friend because it is expired. The Best Buy is by May of 2021, so they no longer wanted it. I think it's still good, smells good, looks good, so we're gonna use it. And then I just have some shredded Parmesan, and that's all we need for dinner. So let's get this party started. So here's all my ingredients. I got my pasta water boiling, and I'm going to go ahead and throw this in Chef Mike. Okay, our water's almost to a boil. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt. You always want to salt the water when you cook pasta. And then I'm gonna add just a splash of olive oil to keep the pasta from sticking while it's cooking. All right, our water is more at a boil. Now I am a breaker of spaghetti. If you're not, don't look. I got a 6-year-old and 2 5-year-olds, so we gotta break this stuff up. Because the longer the noodle, the louder and longer they slurp. I put the whole box in there. You know, we don't mind leftovers in this house. I send a lot of them to work with husband. We're just gonna let this cook. All right, my pasta is done. I'm gonna turn it off. I just tried it to make sure it's the correct doneness we like. To our drained noodles, we're going to add, I'm just going to add all of this, honestly. Looks good, smells good. I'm going to toss that in it. Oh yeah. I'm going to add all of this Parmesan cheese. And then we have our bag of broccoli cauliflower. I'm just going to pour it all in there. You could of course add like canned chicken to this if you would like, or if you have any chicken in your fridge, throw this in there. Get yourself some protein in there, but honestly this is it for us. And that's dinner for tonight. Looks pretty good. Something super simple I just threw together while I'm canning up some pickles. Oh yeah. Good stuff. Don't mind me. Alright guys, for this leftover recipe, I'm going to be utilizing my instant brown rice I have here. I have some broccoli cheddar soup. I got some leftover purple cauliflower. And I have some ground beef already cooked up with peppers, onions, and zucchini. So this is what I'm going to use. And I'm going to bake it and kind of make a broccoli cheddar rice beef casserole. Unfortunately, bad news is that I do not have any cheese. But good news is that there's cheese in the broccoli cheddar soup, so that'll be fine. So I'm just gonna measure this whole box. See, I thought it was 4 cups, but it really is. It was 3 cups. And with this instant brown rice, you cook it, you do equal parts rice to liquid. So then I'm going to measure 3 cups of my broccoli cheddar soup here. You know, I might do a little more so it has kind of a sauce too. So let's just do 4 cups. 4 cups broccoli cheddar soup. And then I'm gonna add the cauliflower. I'm just gonna put all of it in there to use it up. Oh boy, maybe I needed a bigger pan. I don't know, we'll see. And then I'm gonna do some ground beef. Alright. Wish me luck in giving this a stir. Now this is actually the first time I've tried baking instant brown rice. So we'll see how it turns out. I might add some more of my soup, honestly. It's already looking dry. I'm gonna just pour it, like, I want it to be soupy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to see some liquid in there when I'm stirring it, especially at this point, because the cauliflower is not cooked, the rice isn't cooked, so I'm going to be adding more liquid. There we go. Probably even a smidgen more. This is a good news, using up this broccoli cheddar soup. I never made broccoli cheddar soup for the kids before, so I didn't know how they would like it. It was okay. They're just like, this is dinner. It would have been nice to have like some bread or something with it. All right. Well, I think that's as much as we're gonna get. That's pretty full. But I think that looks pretty good. Alright guys, I'm going to make a bread topping for this. I usually just use cheese as a topping, but like I said, I don't have any today. So I'm going to be making a breading topping. I have this little bag of cornflake cereal that I get in a kids pack that they're not going to eat because it's yucky. So I'm just going to crush it up. And we're going to use this as the topping, part of the topping. And then I just have some butter here. So I'm gonna put the cornflakes in there. And then this is homemade breadcrumbs. I can leave a link to show you how I made these. I'm just gonna stir this up, kind of see what my bread to butter ratio is. That's pretty good. I can add some more. Whoa. Not much. It's the problem of not measuring and just winging it out there. And that's alright. Oh yeah, that's good. You could also use saltine crackers. You could use Ritz crackers, would be really good. That's a really popular top, is Ritz crackers. Alright, and then I got some homemade leek powder here. I'm gonna put that, so it's kind of like onion powder. And then I got some garlic salt here. Some parsley, some dried parsley. Jeez, are you serious? Oh, there's a bigger hole. Okay, that's better. Okay. And pepper. I didn't say what else was I gonna add. Some ground pepper. Okay. Mix it up again. Yeah, you want all parts of your dish to be seasoned. So the casserole and the topping all need seasoned. Alright, let's get this sprinkled on top. Alright, I put it on a sheet pan because I think it's going to overflow. Oh, hold on, husband's calling. Alright. Anyway, as I was saying, who's gonna take bets that this is gonna overflow? That's why I put a sheet pan down, just in case. This is pretty full, but that happens when you wing stuff. I'm not really much of a recipe follower. I like to see a recipe kind of like a guide, you know, of a reference. Well, that was the perfect amount. Got the whole top. I got it all used up. I like the green hint that that leek powder gives it. I really like that. Alright, so I'm going to put this in at 350 and I'm probably going to do 30 minutes and then we'll check it. Alright guys, this is what it looks like after the 20-minute timer. The main thing I'm looking for is to see if that rice is cooked. So I'm going to get in on the corner here, pick out some rice and give it a try. It is not done yet. I'm going to give it 10 more minutes. Alright guys, this just came out after round 2. I put it in for that 10 more minutes and it was not done yet. So I did 10 more and this is looking way better. Like, it's a lot fluffier. So you can see that the rice is actually cooked. But I'm going to try it just to make sure. Yep, that did it. So this was in there for a total of 20 minutes. I'm going to try this piece of cauliflower too. No, I'm not just hungry. I've got a sample, make sure it's good. Yep, this is a little crunchy still, but definitely cooked some and not raw. So I'm gonna let this cool down and then we're gonna serve this up. And that, my friends, is what's for dinner. Looks fantastic. Repurpose some leftovers. Hey everybody, for this recipe I have an overzealous pizza dough here. It may or may not have been sitting in my fridge for a couple of extra days. So she's super puffy, she's super proofed, and she's ready to get cooked. We're gonna try a dessert pizza. Now, I've never actually done this before, but how hard can it be? That's half the fun, is trying new things. So let's see if we can make up a dessert pizza real quick. So I'm gonna start with just a little bit of oil. This pizza dough is also still cold, so it's probably not quite ready to go into the pan. Okay. I'm just gonna kind of use the weight of gravity to pull it down, to stretch it out a bit. I am a very big fan of using a sheet pan for pizza instead of making a circular one. I feel like I can get more slices, I can stretch it further, it's kind of less baking, it just bakes all together. And it's a little different. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like it's less work. But if you could totally turn this into a round pizza if you prefer that way. Or some people cook, I could probably cook it in my cast iron as well. I haven't done that before either, so that would be good. Cast irons are great. Alright, so I got it kind of stretched. We're gonna let this warm up a little bit and then we'll try her again. Alright, so it's been a couple more minutes. It's been resting out here now on this pan. Enough for me to stretch it. If you get a hole, it's fine, just pinch her together. Now I have a jar of homemade apple pie filling. Open that up. Oh, that was a good seal. Just gonna put it directly on here. I don't know if it'd be better to pre-cook it, then put it on. I don't know, what do you guys think? I think this will turn out. You know, sometimes experimenting is just getting in there and giving it a try. And if it doesn't work this time, then we know next time that we're gonna have to bake it first. You know, trial and error. Nothing wrong with that. Make sure you're scraping jars, cans, all that jazz really good. Get all that product out that you worked hard for or that you paid good money for. gonna spread it around here. Some kind of streusel or something I feel like it needs on top. Alrighty, I decided to go ahead and make a oat crumble for that apple pie I'm trying to do on the pizza. So I just have 1 cup of flour. I like to do half all-purpose unbleached flour and then half wheat flour in any flour that I use for anything. So this is my premix that I have up. And then I'm going to add half a cup of brown sugar to this. And then for all the spices, I'm going to do half a teaspoon of baking powder. Just a 1/4 teaspoon, pinch of salt. And then I'm gonna do a whole teaspoon of cinnamon. And then this is 3 cups of old-fashioned oats. You'd really prefer those over the quick ones, but honestly, either's fine. I'm gonna use my teaspoon here just to kind of pre-mix this up a little bit. I usually have my own homemade brown sugar that I make. It's actually in my banana bread video where I can some banana bread. I can link that below if you're interested in learning how to make it. I am about to make some more, but I had some that I received, so I'm using that up first. All right, so that's a little pre-mixed. 1 stick of room temperature butter. I have a big pound here, so this is 4 sticks. So I'm just gonna kind of eyeball how much. It's about roughly half a cup. Well, not roughly, it is half a cup. Math. All right, I'm gonna do 1 more flop. Good job. All right. And then I have clean hands, and I'm just gonna get in here and mix it up with my hands. You kind of just wanna like rub it between your fingertips to get it crumbling and mixed in there. You want this to be about pea size. I also had some big things of sugar in there. I'm trying to, like this one, trying to smash up while I'm in there. Well, it's not cooking or baking if you don't get stuff all over the floor. Let's get this on our pie. All right, let's just spread some of this on our pizza. Looks pretty good. Alright, and we're gonna bake this for 20 minutes and see how she looks. Oh my goodness, guys. This looks way better than I was expecting. But I mean, an apple pie pizza, I don't know what I thought could have gone wrong. So this is just some butter I'm gonna do around the crust. Kids are watching Scene 2 in the background if you hear that. Is anybody else kids obsessed with that? And then I'm just mixing up some cinnamon sugar to sprinkle over that crust. Because why not? If we're going to be fancy, might as well try and fancy it up. And then whenever I make cinnamon sugar, I don't know if you guys struggle with cinnamon sugar or not, I just do like 1/4 of cinnamon and then 4 times as much sugar. Everybody likes it different. My brother loves extra cinnamon in his cinnamon sugar, so his cinnamon sugars always are super dark. So lots of cinnamon. Nothing wrong with that. Alright, perfect. Alright, now I think this could use a little bit of a glaze, and glaze is super easy. So let's whip up a glaze real quick. I have some powdered sugar. This is the same cup I used to measure the flour for the oats topping. So I'm just gonna make enough just for this one pizza. So I got a little under a cup there. And then I got some 1% here. Just like, start off with like a tablespoon. And then just slowly mix it. It's simple as that, guys. Just powdered sugar, milk, and then I'm gonna add a drop of vanilla. I just love vanilla so much. It adds so much flavor. Okay. Yeah, that looks about perfect. If you make it too thick, then just add more milk. Make it too thin, add more powdered sugar. It's super easy. And guys, this looks fantastic. Do they have something like this at the pizza shop? I don't know. If I ever get pizza, I usually just do Little Caesars because it's the cheapest. But that looks pretty darn good. So whenever cutting this, I use my big cutting board. I actually got this whenever I was a line cook at Ruby Tuesday. They were getting new ones and they let me take it home. So a lot of my good knives I've got from there for the exact same reason. Perks of working in the restaurant industry. So I like to do that, and then whenever I cut it, I kind of like, yeah, to get that done. And you want to go it a couple times. Make sure you really get through the crust. Like literally nothing is worse than trying to grab a piece of pizza and it's all stuck together and you can't grab a whole piece. It's like, ah, and you got to use your other hand to rip the other one apart, and it's hot. I don't like it. All right. So I mean, you know, you guys cut this however you'd like. I kind of try and do handheld sticks. This is when I have regular savory pizza as well. Always the best part about being the cook is that you get to try the food first. Look at that. I'm glad I was able to save this pizza crust. I probably shouldn't have left it in there that long, but you know, it happens. You're like, man, you pull something. Oh, here's the bottom. Looks pretty good. Oh yeah. But you pull something out, planning on using it, and then, you know, you run out of time, you run out of steam. It happens to me all the time. And then it leaves it in there. But don't be like, oh, you know what? I didn't get to this at the night that I was planning to. I'm just going to throw it away. No, try and think of something. You know, you could have made this smaller and done like little apple pie pizza breadsticks or something, you know. But this looks pretty good. Oh, it's hot. That was picture perfect, man. Mmm. The kids haven't seen it yet. Maybe I won't tell them. This is delicious. Guys, this is so good. This is simple stuff that you have every day in your pantry. Like, I could have made homemade pizza dough, which I'm actually going to start doing a little more breads. So stay tuned for that. And you make your own pizza dough, or you get the store-bought one, that's fine. And this is an easy way to spruce it up, spaz it up. Make it seem fancy, you know, make your family feel like you're eating out, but really you just whip that up, no problems with everyday stuff. You could do something besides apple pie. You could do cherry. Oh, that would be so good. You know, mix it up a bit, get creative. All right, guys, that's what I got for you this week. That's just everyday cooking. You take stuff that you have left over in your fridge and you try and come up with something new. You know, some things end up being better than the other, but that's okay. It's all about trying new, and you never know what you might come up with that your family loves. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time on Mama Bear's.